Hi folks, welcome to another GOTR or Gourmet on the Road update, and we are at another legendary culinary institution here in Namma Bengaluru, and this one's called Brahmin's Coffee Bar. You know, I've been 20 years in the city and this is my first visit here, and in a manner of speaking I'm embarrassed for actually not making it here before. Before I tell you more about what you should look forward to in an upcoming episode of Gourmet on the Road featuring Brahmin's Coffee Bar, I must also remind you that I'm going to take up a couple of queries, couple of comments that we got on our recent dosa trail. I hope you caught that dosa trail. It was hugely popular with all you viewers. I'm going to put a link to the dosa trail, both part 1 and part 2 right here. So in case by any chance you haven't caught it, do look up this epic dosa trail across Bengaluru. Coming back to Brahmin's Coffee Bar, I tasted 4 dishes out of the 4 dishes that they actually make here, which is the idli vada, probably the softest idli that I've ever tasted. I tasted the vada with the chutney, of course, and the other 2 dishes, which is the kesari bath and the kara bath. And how could I leave a coffee bar without having a cup of coffee? So this is actually my second cup of coffee here at Brahmin's Coffee Bar. Do look up Food Lovers TV, subscribe to Food Lovers TV to stay tuned for this very special episode on Brahmin's Coffee Bar. Well, our recent dosa trail in Namma Bengaluru seems to have been much appreciated by all of you out there. In fact, we've seen an incredible number of views and most importantly comments from you on this dosa trail. So I've got a bunch of questions, queries on the dosa trail, so I thought we will probably address a couple of them in this GOTR update. So the first message that I've got is from Lucky Films, and Lucky Films says, my, to quote him, this is the most beautiful coverage of the variety of dosas ever. Every single of them, they are incomparable. Each dosa has its signature taste, texture, presentation and price. Bengaluru truly has the most dosa variety available. Yes, I felt the same too. You know, this was the first time that we actually embarked on something like a dosa trail. We of course all love our dosas, or doses as we call them here in Namma Bengaluru. But this is the first time ever that I actually put together this list of dosa destinations across Bengaluru that we visited in the span of a day. So we tasted about 20 dosas nearly, and I agree with you, Lucky Films, each dosa is special. Each dosa has its own signature, each dosa has its own legions of fans. You know, people ask me sometimes which was the best dosa, and I think it's so hard and so unfair to answer that question, because each of these establishments that serve up these dosas are doing it in their own unique special way. Each dosa that they put out there is special in its own way, whether it's a kali dosa, set dosa, ragi dosa, bath dosa, rava dosa, podi dosa, benne masala dosa and so forth. I think each dish is special, each dosa is special in its own way. So I think it's very difficult to actually say which is the best dosa, etc. But like you rightly said, every dosa has its own personality, every dosa has its own signature. I've got another query from Manju Syed, again on the dosa trail. He says, did you cover all restaurants in one day or course of a few days? Well, Manju, the dosa trail happened in the course of a day, but there was a run up to it, in the sense we first polled all of you out there to ask you for your most popular dosas, and we got a huge amount of response. I think there were hundreds of comments that we received from you stating your favorite dosa. So it took us some time to put all that together, and from there we identified 12 dosa destinations across Bengaluru. The new, the old, the traditional, the not so traditional, and that's how we went about it. When it came to actually tasting the dosas, I think we've covered 12 establishments across part 1 and part 2. We covered 11 establishments on one single day. So I began in the morning at 7, and then I worked my way through the city across all these restaurants tasting all these dosas. There was only one dosa destination that we had shot a few days earlier, so that was the only one that we shot on a separate day. But otherwise, yes, all the dosa destinations, all the dosas that we tasted were covered in one single day. That's a lot of dosas to be tasted, but believe me, it was such a wonderful experience to taste all these different styles of dosas. So that's it for this Gourmet on the Road update. Do stay tuned for this very special episode that's coming up on Brahmin's Coffee Bar. And do subscribe to Food Lovers TV if you haven't subscribed yet. Do like, comment, share all our videos, and if you'd like to support Food Lovers TV, do log on to foodlovers.in and click on the Support Food Lovers banner. Until the next time, happy eating or drinking as the case may be. See you.